Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 15th of September, 2019. We have a great show for you today.
Okay, here's Nigel again. The Yellow Hammer Report is Project Fear Mark II. It should be utterly and totally disregarded.
Anyway,
Just put out
just because the comments are on a leg. Britt says, Michelle, the student loan company in the UK is a private company and it has to show a profit for its shareholders. Because that's what I was thinking too as you were saying that. Like, so they do have to kind of show a profit.
Then you're a socialist country. Just give out loans. You're socialist, interest-free.
what it describes as its reasonable worst case assumptions. Food's running out, medicine's running out, chaos for British people living on the continent. Why on earth would anybody vote for that?
I've never seen such utter tosh in my entire life. Unlike these civil servants sitting in Whitehall, I spent 20 years in international trade, buying and selling goods and shipping them all over the world. And the idea, given there are over 100 ports, active ports, in the United Kingdom, that even if there was a problem at Dover, there'd be food shortages, is complete and utter rubbish. It's Project Fear Mark II. It should be utterly, completely, totally disregarded.
Yellow Hammer.
Well said.
Yellow Hammer. Okay, let's see. We're going to talk about, for a while there, we were hearing all these positive things about
So, okay, I like what Jim West says here because I was thinking the exact same thing. He says student loans are paid at the rate of inflation. The 6% is above it. Because I'm like, okay, so inflation is real because we know that the governments just print money. And so there has to be some sort of, you would think,
Does it matter? No, but it doesn't matter. Because
what you're saying is you're trying
to
to
for a 5-year car. You know what I mean? You can have a zero interest loan. The college shouldn't be more than 5 years, and in 5 years, the inflation shouldn't go up 6% anyways.
Okay, but that goes to the reason why the automotive thing is it can be 0% is because you're purchasing a product, and with the actual colleges and universities don't own these loans. Okay, so they sell them out, and so they want their money first, and then the company that has bought it has to make a profit. So what you're trying to say is rather than give away free college, at the very least, if somebody wanted to come together with something, they could say, let's do interest-free loans. And of course, that's going to come out of the pocket of the people. Okay?
Well,
so it's not really a libertarian view.
But a libertarian view is get rid of interest. You should you shouldn't have interest. There's a lot of companies actually out there who would actually do student loans. That refinancing them in our country makes it very impossible. But here's the thing.
Why not compel the colleges to finance these students on loans without interest? Like, here's the product and you're allowed to make payments on it.
Yeah, exactly.
The product is your education.
Exactly. So back to
but that's also still not very libertarian, but I get it.
Well, it would be for a college to do it. A college to say,
compel a college to do something like that isn't
libertarian. I wouldn't compel. I would just encourage it. Encourage government. Right. Okay, here's the thing. I wouldn't have government-backed student loans.
Right.
I wouldn't have a government-backed student loan.
Right.
That's retarded. That's so stupid. And the colleges wouldn't be enrolling so many people.
Right.
That people couldn't pay it back.
Right.
The government shouldn't back any sort of loan.
Yes.
Okay, remain media. When I look at education, having an interest rate on any sort of loan for education, in my opinion, is usury. It's wrong. You're going to be paying it back. That's it. You borrowed money, you pay it back. That's it. You don't need interest on a loan. That's stupid. Your college shouldn't be up until you're paying off college until you're 40. Okay, and I just forget inflation. You just pay it back.
But that would be so. I like hear what who was it? Sorry, the comments go so fast. Alan says, I like Tucker's take on student loans. Make the colleges co-sign them. If they give a poor education where the student can't get a job and pay back the loan, make the college pay it back.
There's that, or the colleges just give out loans. You come to our school, and then you pay us back for it, because that's just the way it is.
Whoa, wow.
All right, remain media quiet as court rules no deal Brexit does not breach the Irish peace deal. The High Court of Northern Ireland has ruled that a no-deal Brexit would not breach the Good Friday Agreement, which supports the peace process in the British province. Northern Ireland, known colloquially as Ulster, was for decades racked with violence perpetrated by terrorists claiming to be fighting on behalf of the minority of the population, which supports leaving the United Kingdom and uniting with the Republic of Ireland. But the campaigners sought to block a no-deal Brexit, and they went to court, claiming the possible introduction of a customs border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland would break the terms of the Belfast Agreement. But Lord Justice Bernard McCloskey has ruled that that is not the case. So that's out. That's out of there.
So that has to do with the Irish backstop.
Yes.
And so I think that from what I've gathered from most sound-minded people in the United Kingdom, they've pretty much said that it's the backstop is kind of a non-issue. Okay. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't really change anything whether you're part of the European Union or not. This border is really a non-issue, and they're kind of just blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah, talking about that's a really good lead up. Thank you for that. Blowing out of proportion. Here's another commercial break where I call these commercial breaks with the random stories out of the blue. Blue water, blue eyes. Arctic global warming mission was scuppered by mysterious hard white substance called ice. Yet another greenie expedition to the Arctic to raise awareness for global warming has been scuppered by unexpected large quantities of ice. This brings a total of 6 to the number of shipfuls expeditions where weather reality has made a mockery of climate theory. Arctic tour ships MS Malmo with 16 passengers on board got stuck in ice on September 3rd off of Longyearbyen, Svalbard archipelago, halfway between Norway and the North Pole. The ship is on an Arctic tour with climate change documentary film team and tourists concerned with climate change. I love that these tourists are concerned with climate change, yet they are burning fossil fuels to go get a good look at it. And the melting Arctic ice, all 16 climate change warriors were evacuated by helicopter with more fossil fuels. In challenging conditions, all are safe. 7 crew remain on board. A reporter, clearly with a sense of humor, he adds, "Something is very wrong with Arctic ice. Instead of melting as ordered by the UN IPCC, it captured the ship with climate change warriors." It appears the mainstream media has failed to get the memo. Here is the tweet from Reuters, which appeared after the ship got stuck in ice.
Oh my gosh. It's embarrassing.
And it says the town of Longyearbyen, Norway, is the northernmost, the fastest warming town in the world, where glaciers melt, coffins rise from the permafrost, and avalanches sweep away houses. And yet they got stuck in the ice. Here's another hysterical story about Longyearbyen, written by The Guardian earlier in the year, with a correction that puts the nonsense in context. Longyearbyen, 1908. Sorry, that page doesn't exist. They took it down. No snow. No snow. No snow in 1908 there. So here's a list of these shipfuls. Australian climate researcher Chris Turkey and a crew of climate alarmists on a mission to demonstrate just how much Antarctic ice has been affected by global warming get stuck in unexpected thick ice and have to be rescued by a helicopter.
Oops.
Arctic expedition led by veteran explorer David Hempleman Adams to raise awareness of permanent irreversible change in the sea ice landscape of the Arctic caused by global warming is ruined by unexpected large quantities of ice. They really didn't expect that. Global warming research study in Canada canceled because of ice. It became very clear to me very quickly that these weren't just heavy ice conditions. These were unprecedented ice conditions.
Ripaz says, Michelle, in the Arctic, the sea is actually getting thicker and covering a larger area each winter, according to independent scientific sources.
Claims the lead scientist, blaming it on climate change fully in action and calling it a wake-up call for all of us in this country. Arctic mission sailing expedition to the North Pole to raise awareness of global warming has to turn back after yachts find their passage blocked by large quantities of unexpected frozen white substance. Scientists, students, filmmakers from the University of Rhode Island's Inner Space Center on a mission to document climate change effects in the Canadian Arctic archipelago have to be rescued after the ship is damaged after grounding on unexpected hard bluey white substance floating in the sea.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, we went to Glacier.
Yeah.
In 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we went to Glacier, and we learned that every winter the glaciers freeze and they kind of build up, and then sometime in the summer, not even in the spring, they start to melt. And they melt throughout the summer, and then winter happens and they like freeze again. Okay? So let's just say that we look at history, like the last 200 or 300 years, on kind of a year-long scale, right? Where the weather goes kind of up and down and up and maybe down, stays down, then goes back up. And so you have these periods where you have kind of a big freeze and then a melt and then a freeze and then a melt. And you could take that to another extreme. Let's say you look at it like 1,000-year, linear history of the weather. The fact that these people that believe in global warming refuse to look at that, because if you were to show up in probably August of Glacier and you were to see all of these glaciers melting, you might go, oh my gosh, global warming. I came to Glacier because there's glaciers, and now they're telling me that the glaciers in Glacier are melting right now. They're literally dripping. They're not as big as they were earlier this year. Global warming is real. And not taking into consideration that they were just frozen and they're going to freeze again, because it's a pattern. They refuse to look at large historical patterns for these things. And I'm sitting here scratching my head like, are you not a scientist? Because science is supposed to look at patterns.
Here's the thing. All you need to do is here's the thing. What the climate alarmists do is take attention away from things that are incredibly important in life. Like, I think actually I would rather go woke Pope. Plastic is banned in the Vatican to save the environment. Here he is wearing a plastic rain suit. Pope Francis has banned plastic in the Vatican city-state to stand in solidarity with environmentalists. He made the announcement from aboard the papal plane because that's not going to use burning fossil fuels with their private jet flying all over the world. But it's okay, he's the Pope, and God told him to.
Right.
He made the announcement from aboard the papal plane during a long-haul flight back from his recent trip to Africa, because he is allowed to fly all over the world, because he's basically the embodiment of Jesus Christ, and since Jesus Christ would fly there, then he will too. The Pope said that he had been disturbed by a conversation a couple months ago with sea chaplains and fishermen who recounted how they had gathered 6 tons of plastic from the ocean over the course of a few months. In the Vatican, we have banned plastic. We are working on that. The Pope went on to explain that his prayer intention for September is for the protection of the oceans that give us the oxygen we breathe. We need to defend the ecology and biodiversity, which is our life, and defend oxygen, which is our life. I am comforted by the fact that it is young people who are waging this war. They have a great conscience and are saying the future is ours. Do what you want with yours, but not with ours. The Pope said that he had been anguished when he saw a photo of a ship sailing all the way to the North Pole undisturbed by ice. And we just talked about the fact that there's ice everywhere right now. Not long ago, we all saw the photograph of symbolic funeral of for an extinct glacier in Greenland, he said. In recent months, the Pope has been adopting stronger rhetoric to describe what he sees as a climate emergency around the globe. In a September message for the World Day of Prayer for the Care of the Creation, the Pope employed the
Where is the word?
Apocalyptic.
Say
it.
I always just say apoplectic.
There's no extra P there.
Right.
Why would you say apoplectic?
Apocalyptic. Apocalyptic. There's 2 different words. Apoplectic means to be really upset and in fits about something.
Yeah.
So, apocalyptic.
Thank you. I don't know why I can't say that word.
Easy for you to say.
It's going to be the end of the world. Encouraged by climate alarmists to frighten people into taking actions, human beings have caused a climate emergency that gravely threatens nature and life itself, urging drastic measures. Too many of us act like tyrants with regard to creation, he declared. Let us make an effort to change and to adopt more simple and respectful lifestyles. Because simple is getting in your private airplane and jet setting all over the world. Popey man.
Popey man.
You could just sit in your little Popey Pope place and, you know, send some little wires over the internet.
Yeah.
Now is the time to abandon our dependence on fossil fuels, even though you are using them and flying all over the world. Scott says something about hypocrites. And move quickly and decisively towards forms of clean energy. How are you going to play? There is not one idea out there for airplane travel that's clean. You can't. They don't even have nuclear
I want to take
energy
this time
for planes.
to very briefly say I have a problem with all of these people, like the kids that we talked to after the Trump rally.
Yeah.
That have no idea how we got here, and that they are actually the mindset of greed. I want what I want, and I want it now. Mm-hmm. Is what has created this problem. So as we're talking about this, Leah, are you a fan of plastic grocery bags?
No.
Are you a fan of plastic straws?
No.
Are you a fan of the little things that the penguins get trapped in from the Coca-Cola cans?
Do they even sell those anymore?
Well, we just had a thing of it.
You're right, they do, yeah.
Okay, so no, we are not a fan. We are not a fan of plastic at all. If I could ban plastic, I would. If I could make it so that no one ever could use a plastic thing forever, I would. But that also means that you need to go back to a slower paced society. The demand for plastics, okay, has gone hand in hand with the I want all of this modern technology. These kids want their cell phones. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you banned plastic, Pope Francis. Do you have a cell phone? Because I guarantee that your cell phone is not 100% non-plastic. Okay? It's impossible for us as a society to ban plastics. So what we need to talk about are alternatives and getting back to a way of life that doesn't require us to have these plastics.
Listen to what he says. Now is the time to abandon our dependence on fossil fuels and move quickly and decisively towards forms of energy, clean energy, and sustainable and a circular economy. Let us also learn to listen to indigenous peoples whose age-old wisdom can teach us how to live in a better relationship with the environment. Now, when we're talking about hypocrisy, you need to know. Hang on, I'm going to find it. That this Pope, if you open up the dictionary, he says the right things to appease people, but by his lifestyle and his actions, just by banning plastic, well, you can't ban something like they've done in San Francisco and ban plastic bags, and now you have hepatitis B and all kinds of horrible things because homeless people used to pick up their own poop with those plastic bags,
right? And
now the poop just stays on the ground because they don't have these free plastic bags floating all over the place,
right?
So if you do, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and if people have become dependent, as we have, on picking up poop with plastic bags, and then you want to tell people to pick up...
Because we're dog walkers, not because we defecate in the street.
Thanks for making that clear.
Welcome.
You know, everybody uses these plastic bags.
But Leah, okay, so we shouldn't have a society really where you have to pick up your dog's poo like that. I mean, you should have a farm where you got a scoop and you can put it in a pile. So there is that. But what I'm saying is this is entire lifestyle. So the left have created these homeless people in California, okay, from this welfare system. And then the left wants to now come and say, all of these things that you're doing is wrong when they are the very ones. It wasn't the capitalistic society, actually. It was the greedy society, the welfare society.
Speaking of greedy, wait, listen, look at this. Look at this.
Lamborghini.
Pope Francis meets and praises Lamborghini president. He signs a Lamborghini because that's what Jesus would do.
He's got to stay relevant. Leah.
Pope Francis met Friday with Stefano Domenicali, president and CEO of the Lamborghini company, saying his generosity resembles that described by Jesus in the gospel.
No way.
Jesus would tell you to go sell all you have and give it to the poor.
Is he giving Lamborghinis away?
Papal spokesman Matteo Bruni issued a brief communique noting that the Pope had met with the Lamborghini executive, as well as a delegation from the Omes Foundation, which oversaw the auction of a special edition Lamborghini donated to Francis. They did donate to Francis a Lamborghini in 2017.
So he's thanking them for their generosity for buying him off.
The luxury sports car.
What does the Pope need with a Lamborghini?
Sending this to our dear friend.
What does the Pope need?
Do I want
with
to offend someone that badly?
a Lamborghini?
The luxury sports car in papal white and gold, blessed and autographed by the Pope, fetched $1 million at a 2018 Sotheby's auction in Monaco. And the buyer, a citizen of the Czech Republic, was also present to greet the Pope. Because you can greet the Pope for $1 million, baby. Pope Francis cited chapter 25 of St. Matthew's Gospel. This is not the Babylon Bee. This is not The Onion. This is Breitbart, and I'm here to bring you the real news today and forever. Saying that the Lamborghini company's generosity corresponds to Jesus' description of charity in the biblical passage. This is really hard for me to get out my mouth. During the meeting, the delegation presented the Pope with a symbolic check for the amount of $1 million. The last 200,000 euros from the sale of the sports car will be used for the rebuilding of a seminary and a preschool in Haiti that were destroyed by an earthquake in 2010. The monies that were already distributed to charity include 300,000 euros to the Pope John the 23rd community, which helps women who are victims of trafficking and prostitution, and 200 euros to the aid to the church in need for a reconstruction project in the Nineveh Plains of Iraq, and 160,000 euros to the two Italian associations working in Africa. Now, I am very happy that I'm very happy about the things that the Catholic Church does. However, sometimes your good works do not outweigh, and you can't just say, hey, what you're doing is good over there, and then kind of gloss over the hypocrisy of the Pope signing and auctioning off a Lamborghini for $1 million, and then meeting the person who bought this Lamborghini and now driving it around, the Pope's Lamborghini. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
When you're dealing with this kind of stuff, when you're dealing with this kind of money, it's called selling your soul, and it's called indulgences. And Jesus would say, why would you not just donate your $1 million instead of buying the Lamborghini?
Right. Well, because you got to get something for what you give.
So, when it comes to climate change, okay, when anybody asks you about climate change and global warming, you say this. Have you ever heard of a saber-toothed tiger and a woolly mammoth? Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
We had this thing. It was called
The Ice Age.
the Ice Age.
The Age of Ice.
And what is incredible about this Ice Age is
We're still cooling from it.
but it was so quick that it formed these animals in ice.
Yeah.
Okay?
We are literally still cooling from the Ice Age, though. That's scientific.
We're still kind of warming
Warming, I meant.
from that
Warming,
from
I
that
meant
Ice
warming.
Age.
That's what
So,
I meant.
yeah, the
Have you ever, so just the other day we had a gathering and I bought a big thing of ice and I put it in a cooler. Okay. And for like 3 days after that, 3 or 4 days, you could still go out and grab a drink from it and it would still be like cool and cold, but eventually it did all melt. So when you have it takes a long time for things to warm from a big freeze like that. All right. So I'm so glad that you guys are here with us. I'm so glad that you are part of our Resistance Chicks family.
And our pre-rehearsal
Live. That too. I'm glad that you support us. I want you to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos. And when I say comment, I really mean it. The more comments you leave on our videos after the fact, just because you left something in the chat, leave it in the comment section. It really, really does help. Share our videos. Get the message out there. Patriot Gallery works really hard.
she's been cutting up the videos.
Cutting up the videos so you guys can have shorter videos.
Trying to get around that censorship algorithm.
Exactly. So thanks to Patriot Gallery. We will be back on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our
Hopefully
weekly
before
roundup. And hopefully before that. You never know. We've got a
Bible study
studio.
this week.
Yes, hopefully we will have a Bible study this week. So, John, I think we're in 21. I'm really excited about that. I think we are. I probably just said that wrong, but I think we are. So you guys are a blessing. Thank you to all of our moderators who were here today and everybody that was in the chat contributing to a wonderful show. It was a great show. Good job, Leah.
Thank you. Good job, Michelle.
Thank you. Remember, guys, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. We love you. God loves you.
One more time.
Okay. Just kidding. We're going again.
On our way out.
Okay.
Amazing love, how can it be
That you, my king, would die for me. Amazing love, I know it's true. And it's my joy to honor you in all I do. To honor you. All right, you guys. God bless.
Was called